If you're a foreigner like myself, then you have to somewhat trust the Germans. But it seems the Germans aren't trusting the Germans. What? What's up, everybody? I'm Christopher. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching the content. The only thing that I ask and appreciate is that you like the video. I got two more stories today. One involves what you heard in my intro. The other involves a tragedy here that happened in southern Germany. It involves things blowing up. So let's check it out. Several injured in a gas explosion in southern Germany. So, several people were injured in a gas explosion on Friday in or near a building in southern Germany, in the southern German town of Memmingen. The explosion occurred at about 6 a.m. and damaged the building that is used by the Bavarian Red Cross, oh my gosh, which also had apartments above it. All 5 injured worked for the Red Cross. So I guess like with the fire departments in the States where they kind of live in the building where they have the emergency services provided out of, it makes for quicker response. That's the case here. There were 5 people that actually lived in the apartments above the building that was damaged, and those 5 were injured. From the size of the explosion, we're just lucky that there aren't any dead. And yeah, that they are lucky. I mean, that explosion looks pretty bad. Look at that, boom. And anybody who knows German buildings, they're pretty tough. They're pretty resilient. And this is busted right out. The source of the explosion was a defective gas line that ran under the street in front of the building. Just think about this for a second. We know that the Germans are serious about their architecture and their work, and the work that they put into building and creating and making stuff. So it's kind of funny that this gas line was defective. I don't know, maybe it's old, maybe it was built some time ago and it's just time to be replaced. But it's kind of funny that this would happen, given that we know how the Germans are with their building and stuff like that. Meticulous they are, meticulous. But it's good to know that all those people are doing well. Hopefully they can get this fixed and it won't happen again. I don't see stuff like this that happens often when it comes to the Germans and their handiwork. And by the way, I use gas here in this building, so yeah. Next story. All right, so according to a piece done by The Local, more than half of Germans lost trust in the government's handling of the pandemic. Let's see what this is about. For the first time in the coronavirus pandemic, more than half of Germans hold a negative view of the government's management of the crisis, according to a new survey. Now, I wish I would have seen something like this last year. Because as I said in the video before, Germany handled this virus situation better than anybody did when it first happened last year. So I'm wondering if this new survey was done sort of kind of the end of last year into this year. Just over half of those surveyed, 54%, in an ongoing study felt that German politicians are overwhelmed by their duties and hence not carrying them out as effectively. This marks the highest percentage in the pandemic. In the summer, the figure stood at 40%. So that's still pretty high, but 40%. And I guess that was back in April 2020. So yeah, that was during the time that everybody was praising Germany for doing such a good job on this. And it's still 40%. So that's a curious number. The survey, The Fears of the Germans, wow, what a title, right? Has been regularly commissioned by Wiesbaden-based R&V Insurance for almost 30 years and is considered to give an overview of how people feel about politics, the economy, family, and health. Most recently, on January 25th and 26th, around 1,000 adults between the ages of 16 and 75 were surveyed by opinion researchers. For Manfred Schmidt, political scientist at the University of Heidelberg, the survey results show declining confidence in politics. The people of countries across the world are losing faith in their political figures and their governments and stuff like that nowadays. Like, people change their mind with the wind. People can feel a certain way one day and the very next week have a change of mind. So for this year and the past year in particular, people will have a way different opinion on their governing officials than they did prior to this year and last year. for obvious reasons, right? Maybe next year, if things clear up, or the year after that, if things clear up and get back to normal, people will then feel like, oh, okay, they did a good job. Things are over. It's good. It's a good thing they did what they did, and then they'll take another poll and there'll be way different results, drastic results than what we see here. It was a fundamental mistake to shift vaccine procurement to the EU level when national strategies focusing just on Germany would have worked better. Many smaller groups of political figures feel like they could have handled things better individually than letting the bigger figures take on the whole thing and be responsible for all of them. It's the same thing in the States. Eventually, states individually wanted to take care of their own business when it came to this pandemic and not depend on, the higher ups, the president or whoever, to make these decisions for them. Individual states started implementing rules, and they started implementing their own distancing and lockdown measures individually. So you can go into one state, and before crossing into another state, you would have to know what their rules are regarding this. So I kind of agree with that. I wish everybody would have done that. I feel like in that manner, not everybody's going to get it right? But I feel like in that manner, we would have been able to pinpoint the better way. Since so many people have so many ways that they want to handle it and so many ways that they want to tackle this, we could have seen state by state, no matter what the country, who's doing it better. Okay, so you can kind of implement the ways that seem to work, right? Instead of taking the risk with the bigger pie, you take a risk with the smaller piece of pie. I know it sounds bad. Like I said, though, not everybody's going to win and not everybody's going to get it right. But at least, they would have the opportunity to kind of pinpoint what works and what doesn't work. So I don't think this is something that's becoming widespread necessarily. Like the article said, it was only from 1,000 adults that they took the poll and took the count. So not everybody's feeling like that here in Germany. They're just going off that one particular survey. Because I was going to say, man, I don't need to be trusting Germans more than Germans trust Germans. So Germans, are we good? We good?